evening, folks. Dobro večer and welcome to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. It's episode 48 or season 2, episode 18. Our 18th episode this year in 2023. My name's Tonchi Prusats, and tonight we have got a massive show. And I know you hear me say this week in, week out, but we've got some breaking news. In fact, we've got lots of breaking news, so stay tuned for that. And to deliver all that news, the good, the bad, the ugly, the one and only Ante Grabovac. Good evening, Ante. Welcome to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Mate, when we say it's going to be a huge show tonight, that is just no understatement, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to this week's show where we've got some fantastic guests, including NPL Victoria commentator Mark Ivkovic, whose Twitter has been going through the roof over the past few weeks. And the fabulous Sydney United 58 goalkeeper DANIJEL NIZIC will be joining us as well to give us the ins and outs of what happened on Friday night in the Australia Cup, and as well as talk about his career and everything else. And we are hoping to have a live cross to Elko Park, where our man and last year's Torchy's co-host, Josip Zilic, will be live from Elko Park, where North Geelong are taking on Oakley. And Torchy, like this, we had a fabulous reaction to the draw last week. The Couples Bowl and everything was talked about all over Newcastle on Friday night, let me tell you. The other thing is I'm in the restroom and people grabbing and talking about the show and all sorts of stuff, which is just fantastic to see. Yeah, the Newcastle Croatia club before the big Sydney United game. And, of course, we had our guest from 2 weeks ago, Josip Orlovic, who is, of course, playing in HNL2 over there in Croatia and starts this week.
Yeah.
His season starts this week. He sent me a message saying that the president of the Cricket Association in Croatia has contacted him because he wore a cricket shirt.
No way!
To play for the Croatian cricket team. So there you go. So, you just never know who's watching the show, let me tell you.
No, you absolutely do not. Folks, as we said, lots of late-breaking news happening today. But we've got a progress score from the nation's capital where Canberra, Croatia, at the moment are playing a NPL ACT Premier League clash against Kuma Tigers. Canberra, Croatia, 4-1. They have copped a red card, though. It is 74 minutes gone in that game. The NPL Victoria clash between North Geelong, who are on the bottom of the ladder, and third-placed Oakley Cannons. A must-win game for North Geelong. It is the penultimate round of the NPL Victoria competition if they want to stand a chance of staying in next year's competition and joining possibly one other Croatian club to make it 4 in the top tier competition in Victoria. They need to win tonight. But all that and a lot more, a whole lot more, folks, coming up on tonight's show. It is going to be a massive, massive show. So big. We're going to get started straight after this break with the Croatian news, not the Australian Croatian news, because we've had some big news breaking in the last hour. It's huge news. So both not really good news, but we'll tell you all about it after the break. Welcome back to the Croatian roundup, which is a little bit unusual tonight. But it's just for those of you that probably aren't aware, haven't been on social media in the last, say, 60 minutes. There's been some tragic news that's happened in Europe at the moment. As we speak, there was a 22-year-old AEK Athens fan that was stabbed to death. 6 have been injured. Have been something like 90 odd arrested. Of those, 80 are allegedly believed to be Dinamo's Bad Blue Boys fans. Whether we don't know the full details, but it is a tragedy in Greece, in Athens, and you just don't want to hear stuff like this. Not before such a big game that Dinamo Zagreb was supposed to be playing, and unfortunately, it has been made official on Dinamo Zagreb's social media pages only about 45 minutes ago. the game of the third qualifying round match between AEK and Dinamo has been postponed by UEFA, and it's being reported now by all the media all over the world, even here in Australia. The Greek club they basically walked out of a meeting of of the two clubs, and they have stated now officially that they want UEFA to ban Dinamo from Europe. Now, we don't know the full details and we don't know the aftermath, and that will happen, I dare say, in the next few days, maybe hours, maybe weeks. I don't know, but it is a tragedy, firstly and foremostly, not something we want to hear about. And we'll remember, Ante, away fans were banned. Basically, UEFA said away fans were banned. So Dinamo fans ought not have to have travelled to Greece, and Greek fans obviously must not travel to Croatia. But there's been reports that Dinamo's Bad Blue Boys fans linked up with the Panathinaikos fans, who apparently are very good with them and who are rivals of AEK Athens, and all sorts of crap has erupted. All sorts of trouble has erupted. So that looks like the latest news, and unfortunately, we've got a graphic there that we had all prepared, all ready to go. Third qualifying round between AEK Athens and Dinamo in Greece. That was to kick off tomorrow morning at 4:45 a.m. Unfortunately,
don't have to set your alarm clock. So that's why it's breaking news. So to make sure you don't go to bed.
Yeah, exactly right. Look, we're going to move along, though, to hopefully
absolute tragedy. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the next few days. Yeah. Obviously, there'll be investigations and things like that. There's all sorts of talk at the moment. So we'll just wait and see until everything's uncovered.
But our hearts and prayers and thoughts go out with the family of that AEK Athens supporter. 22, and he's not coming home to his family. That's pretty tragic. Moving along to the UEFA Conference League later this week. We've got 3 Croatian clubs all involved. And look, so far it has been absolutely fantastic. The Croatian clubs have won all of their games, Osijek, Rijeka and Dinamo Zagreb. And this week was a real European week. It was supposed to be a real European week for the Croatian clubs. And that is one of the games. Osijek taking on Turkish side Adana Demirspor. That game is to be played in Turkey. First leg kicks off this Friday morning Australian time at 4 a.m. Sorry. Then Rijeka travels to the Faroe Islands to take on FC Tórshavn. That's at 4 a.m., so another away game, and then the return legs will be played a week later. And then the game that was an absolute sellout. Now, when I say absolute sellout, Ante, because
it was chock-a-block.
Because we mentioned that away fans couldn't travel, Hajduk, as a result, I think sold another 3,000 tickets or 2,500 tickets, which got snapped up within minutes of them going on release. So there will be 33,000 fans, if not more, at the Poljud Stadium on Friday morning at 5 o'clock. Game,
I'd say you'd have to check your socials with this because of what's going on. That could be in danger as well. But yeah, we'll just wait and see for UEFA to actually give out the information on that one. Because if the Dinamo fans are together with the PAOK fans, and there's all sorts of other intermingling of fans that could occur as well, right? But who knows?
That's right.
Be revealed in the next few days.
Let's hope that isn't the case, but you never know. Unfortunately, that is absolutely true, aren't it? But anyway, moving along to the Croatian League, and yes, more late-breaking news within the last half hour. Now, this is absolutely fresh. After 3 rounds, we've got our first casualty in the HNL, Mislav Karoglan. He's no longer the coach of Istra. And this is amazing. He came there. He's totally revamped the team. Yes, they lost 6-0 on the weekend to we'll bring that result up, to Rijeka. Rijeka are just in absolute form at the moment. They are in super form. But A result like that definitely can't be accepted. And yes, Karoglan has been given the boot after just 3 games at the helm of Istra. Other results, Lokomotiva and Varaždin 3-3. That's Varaždin's 3rd draw now. They remain undefeated. Unbelievable. They are undefeated, but they've yet to win a game after 3 games. Slave Belupo and Rudeš. Well, Rudeš have recorded their 3rd straight loss of the campaign, but they are, without a doubt, the most entertaining team at the moment. They are involved in, well, they've scored 5 goals and conceded 11. So their games are, 16 goals in 3 games. So they're certainly in amongst the goals, that's for sure. Dinamo Zagreb and Gorica, well, this was a big shock. 0-0 result at Zagreb's Maksimir Stadium. Very wet conditions. I was told there was about 3,500 fans there. Gorica, yes, they played a bunker system, and yes, we knew everyone knows that. But the teams, when they come up against Dinamo and Hajduk, generally play that bunker system, and they have 25,000 people camped in their penalty box, and it's very hard. But yeah, a very, very disappointing result for Dinamo Zagreb. But look, everyone's saying, well, that's it. Dinamo aren't going to win the league this year. But one game doesn't make a result, doesn't make a season. So, folks, there's still another, 33 rounds to go. 34 for Osijek and Split. Their game was postponed on the weekend. So, Rijeka on top with a massive, massive goal difference, +9. Osijek and Hajduk yet to play their game. Gorica now are on, they're in 4th position, just above Dinamo and Slaven. Varaždin, as we said, they're in 7th spot, but they are undefeated, aren't they?
Can they draw every single game this season? That'd be fantastic.
Can they do that? That'd be very interesting. But Lokomotiva then on 2 points, followed by Istra and Rudeš at the foot of the competition standings with no points at the moment. Yeah. So if we're moving along, look, we're getting back to that Conference League. Now, if Hajduk defeats PAOK, they come up against the winner of Rosenborg or Hearts. Okay. And that's going to be a pretty, more than likely will be the Norwegian side, although it could be the Scots, who knows. Osijek, now, if they can get through, they'll be playing either the winner of Olympiakos or Genk. Okay, tough one there. Rijeka, if they can and should get through past their Faroe Island opponents, they'll be up against the French outfit Lille. So definitely you'd have to say Hajduk is probably the team with the most likely of chances to get through there. You would think that's for sure. But look, some interesting games there. Now, also, Zrinski Mostar, they could, the team from Herzegovina, they could become the first BH club ever to get to the group stage. Now, it's a bit complicated, but they've got this team called Breiðablik Kopa Vogur, whatever they're called, from Iceland.
Great job.
Whew, that was a tough one, yeah. Now, should they get past them, Zrinski will then play a playoff game in the Europa League, and they're guaranteed at least, a group stage of that. Yep. So if they in the playoff for the Europa League, they'll be playing against the Austrian team Lask. Now, if they win that, they're in the Europa League. If they lose that, okay, or if they lose to, I should say, take one step back. If they lose to Breiðablik, right, then they go not in the conference, in the Europa League, they go in the Conference League, okay? And then they're going to play the team out of the Macedonian Struga or the Luxembourg team Swift for a spot in the Conference League. So they've either got a spot in the Europa League, which is one tier below the Champions League, or the Conference League, which is 2 tiers below, I guess.
That's terrific.
Yeah, so they are really on target to create some history there, aren't they? Yeah, so that's absolutely fantastic news. Mate, that brings us to the end of the Croatian roundup. Some volatile events happening over in Croatia at the moment.
Yeah, all will be revealed in the next couple of days, obviously. But very tragic. And hopefully Hopefully it's not bad against, obviously, Dinamo and its fans.
Yeah, how ironic would that be, wouldn't it? But anyway, we're not going to dwell on all the negative stuff. We're going to talk about some positive stuff, and there's been lots and lots of positive stuff happening in the Australian-Croatian scene. Ante's got that all ready for you, folks. And as soon as we come back after the break, it's this time for the Australian-Croatian scene with Ante.
Sure is.
Welcome to Slavicek Studio Architecture. Our approach combines modern design with harmonious solutions tailored to your unique needs. We listen closely to your vision and turn it into a functional, beautiful living environment that truly feels like home. Our designs cater to your needs and evolve with you over time, encouraging deeper connections with family and friends. Specializing in custom residential homes and boutique apartments, we balance luxury and comfort to create a welcoming atmosphere for everyone to enjoy. Discover a world of inviting and captivating design at www.slavicekstudio.com.au. Contact us for a journey from idea to reality. Slavicek Studio Architecture, turning your dreams into reality.
Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. And as Petard has mentioned, and as we posted today on Facebook, of course, a potential another pathway for Australian players moving over to Croatia, with the president of Sydney United, Mr. Mark Ivancic, having the approval of HNK Zadar to actually be I don't know whether it's some sort of ownership within the club. So that's really exciting news, and hopefully we'll be able to find out more in the coming weeks. But he was obviously waiting for an approval, and that approval came today, and the media release occurred as well. So NK Zadar, here we come. Unbelievable. That's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, look, folks, if you haven't seen what we're talking about, it was on our Facebook page earlier today. And I hopefully might even have a chance to bring it up now. But in a nutshell, it was a battle between a Canadian and here we go. We've got the actual there it is. If you can read Croatian, yep. So the board of HNK Zadar, they made the decision, and they've chosen between two investors. One was a Canadian-Croatian investor, and one was an Australian-Croatian investor. The consortium led by Mark Ivancic, as Ante said, the president of Sydney United, and that has become the winning bid. So they will be involved. They will be basically taking ownership of HNK Zadar, and there, as Ante says, that opens up a very interesting possibility, because HNK Zadar are now at the moment in the fourth tier. So they're in the Treća Nogometna Liga, South Division. So they are very, very, ambitious is the word. They want to get back to the top as quickly as possible, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done before that happens. But this is a very, very good sign. And look, if anyone in out there in Chatland, out in who are watching us, knows a little bit more about this, do tell us. Hopefully, as Ante said, we'll try and get Mark Ivancic on the show in coming weeks. And but yeah, look, that can only be hopefully maybe a start of a new trend where Croatians from the diaspora are actually investing in football clubs in Croatia, and thus opening up a whole new pathway for some of our talented footballers.
It's a whole new world. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Very exciting as well.
Anyway, from the Croatian scene with an Australian-Croatian perspective to the Australian-Croatian scene with a Croatian perspective, Ante, what's been happening locally?
No way. Gilga's saying that North Geelong are leading Oakley 1-0. That is fantastic news. Hopefully they can maintain that. That is brilliant. So that is
great. Progress score. Well done.
On the fly. All right, well, let's kick off with the Australia Cup round of 32 fixtures. Of course, it happened on Friday night. Sydney United were victorious against Broadmeadow Magic by 4-2. The goal scorers there were Antelmi with a penalty in the 23rd. Vostelica slid in for a fantastic goal in the 35th. Klute I don't know how I got through the keeper. Maybe we'll ask Daniel a bit later on about the ground over there at Broadmeadow. And then Lakalandra smashed one home in the 94th minute. Of course, Broadmeadow did make it tough. They United led twice in this fixture, and they came back even with a man down to equalise. And, so there we go. Fortunately, United were victorious and move on to the round of 16. In the other match, unfortunately, we were all on our phones on Friday night in Newcastle, and it's 1-1, unfortunately, over in North Geelong. Gurga has just messaged us, so that was a short-lived lead. And we're all on our phones on Friday night, and we were checking. Canberra, Croatia got back in the 59th minute thanks to Dominici to 1-1, but unfortunately in the last 15 minutes conceded 2 goals, and they are now out of the Australia Cup. Of course, the reason why we're on tonight is because tomorrow night there's the Gold Coast Knights fixture. If you are on the Gold Coast in Brisbane, anywhere in that vicinity, go to the game live, support the boys. They are playing Devonport, who are first in NPL Tasmania, and that if you aren't in that vicinity, then watch it live on 10 Play. And of course, more entertainment on Thursday night, where the Melbourne Knights take on Queensland Lions. Everyone in Melbourne, get on down there. Both teams are 4th in their respective leagues. And if you're not in that particular vicinity, watch it live on 10 Play. Now, moving on to the Australia Cup, there's a lot of talking points in the match. First of all, those jerseys. The jerseys.
Oh, how good were they?
Everyone was talking about the jerseys. As soon as they came out, everyone was excited. Happy birthday to Luka Abramovic, who actually designed these and actually sent it over to people with connections, and then they sent it over to them. They loved it, and so they came out in these jerseys. And so very well done, Luka, and very well done to everyone involved with getting those kits out. They looked spectacular. Everyone was saying how spectacular they looked. And, of course, in that particular match, there was a bit of a half an hour pretty much stoppage. Yeah. There was a horrific injury to Ante Bakmaz, who fortunately is doing okay. He's back up and everything else. And we'll talk to Daniel a little bit about his update. But, as you can see, at the end of the game, he had the 4 fingers up because he knew it was 4-2. He was watching it from the hospital bed. So, best of luck with all of your recovery. Ante Bakmaz and the boys did it for you. So, very well done there.
Now, until we've got another progress score, unfortunately not from Elko Park, North Geelong, but from Deakin Stadium in the nation's capital. 90th minute, and Canberra, Croatia have taken a 5-1 lead over Kuma Tigers. It's still 1-1 at the moment at Elko Park, but Gurga Grgic or anyone else that may be tuning in, do keep us posted. Lots happening tonight. Moving along,
we're hoping to go halftime live to Elko Park as well. Moving along, victors, cup winners. Well done, Gold Coast Knights. 4-2 winners in the Pro Series final. That is the equivalent of the Doherty Cup, Waratah Cup, the State Cup, basically, in Queensland. So that was a fantastic result. As you can see, everyone was celebrating there. And they are back with the league this Sunday, 1st versus 4th. Sunday, August 13 at the Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre. So it's a busy week for them. They won the cup. Then they've got the Australia Cup tomorrow night, and then Sunday they've got the league. So go Gold Coast Knights. Keep on doing what you're doing. In WA, State League Division 1. Look at this. Mandurah lost, and so Western Knights won, and Western Knights are coming first with 3 rounds to play. Well done, the Knights.
What did I say? Mate, last week? Guelph, Croatia are going to do their Bratski Klub a favour, and boy, did they do Western Knights a huge favour. 1-0 winners over Mandurah City, and the Knights now take on top spot. That is great news. Well done to everyone over there in the West.
Yeah, terrific. So go out and support both teams playing this Saturday afternoon. Both are away. So best of luck to both teams, and hopefully Western Knights can maintain that first position. In South Australia, disaster, but fortunately, 2nd and 3rd also lost. So the Raiders kept their first position because all 3 top teams lost. That is amazing. Vipers defeated Adelaide Croatia 3-2. The Raiders still have it all in their hands. They have got the last round happening this very weekend. So they're playing the 3rd-placed Adelaide Cobras at the Croatian Sports Centre. Everyone in Adelaide cheer the boys on into the victory. And then in other matches, so 2nd is playing 11th. So you'd expect on form, Para Hills should win that. and fourth is playing fifth. So that could be interesting as well. So
is this game going to be streamed, Ante? Do we know?
I do not know. I do hope it is. If not, me and Torchy are happy to come over for a couple of chivapis, and we are happy to commentate.
I'm not doing anything this weekend. Yep.
And we'll bring Shavat along with us too, and Jack Bullich, and we'll have a party in Adelaide.
Yeah, we might even get a Max Jurkovic from over in Adelaide. If anyone from Adelaide is tuning in tonight, please let us know. If it is being streamed, what is the actual, like, if there's a link there as well? Because I know each state is slightly different, and then when it gets to the state leagues, we're really not sure. But yeah, what a game that is going to be. It's come down to the last game of the season. And you know, you could not script it any better, that's for sure.
Yeah, very fortunate that the second and third team lost, let me tell you.
Oh,
all right. Moving over to NPL ACT, and because of course the Canberra Croatia, they're playing tonight because they played on Friday night, and so the only game in the league on the weekend, O'Connor Knights won 2-0 over Tuggeranong. And so they've got a 7-point lead here with 5 rounds to play. So, yeah, let's hope that O'Connor can get that all-important victory. And they are away to the Monaro Panthers on Saturday afternoon. And Canberra, Croatia, of course, have got the match tonight. And they're playing Sunday at home at Deakin Stadium. So,
final score tonight, Canberra ran out 5-1 winners over second-place Tigers. So it looks like the Canberra Croatia are now focusing on this. They're out of the Australia Cup. They're focusing on this. The rest of the NPL ACT competition, better watch out. The 2 Croatian clubs are going to finish in the top 2. That's my prediction.
There you go. Let's hope so. All right, moving over to Queensland, of course, already premiers, already victors. So 2 rounds to play. Brisbane also won on the weekend. And so promoted and premiers. And this Friday night, they're at home. So go and celebrate. I reckon they're partying up in Brisbane. And, yeah, they're ready to go up to FQPL3 next year.
Oh, great stuff.
And the boys, even though they were partying hard on Friday with the Sydney United team, I mean, it was fantastic to see people from South Coast at this game, like drive all the way to Newcastle. That's how important the Australia Cup is. And so, yeah, the Newcastle Croatia boys, it was great to meet, you know, a couple of the committee people, the coach. I met all these people. Karl Zhivkovic was introducing me to everyone, and they were victors 5-1 on the weekend. Looks like they're going to finish in second position for the season, which is fantastic. And their last round is this weekend at home against Wallsend. So go down and support the boys. In NPL Tasmania, unfortunately, Glenorchy Knights suffered a loss. And so that gives them 7 points behind Devonport City, who, of course, are playing tomorrow night against Gold Coast. So there we go. And Glenorchy play on Saturday afternoon against Riverside Olympic at home. So let's hope they can do the business there. I was at Penzas Park after being in Newcastle on Friday night. I was at Penzas Park on Saturday night watching Hersel Zagreb. Zagreb, unbelievable. Played probably the best for quite a few weeks. Had a 1-0 lead and a fantastic setup from Paul Gagro. Beautiful ball into Bitter, and Bitter put the ball into the back of the net. All was looking rosy. Pretty much the last kick of the game, conceded a corner, and it went into the goal. And, of course, it was a 1-0 result against Fraser Park. And Fraser Park are, of course, the Portuguese-backed outfit who have got hopes to be in the second division as well, which we'll be hearing more about with Mark Ivkovic. And that was the last of their home games for Hersel Zagreb. And Sydney United are this Friday night away to Sydney University. Let's hope the boys can get a few wins before the end of the season.
Absolutely.
The South Coast boys, legends, absolute legends. Had a lot of fun with the boys on Friday night. And
big cheerio out to all the South Coast United boys.
Absolutely. Great bunch of guys. And unfortunately, they lost by 1-0. And on the weekend, but they're pretty safe from relegation. And this week they take on the 9th place Corrimal Rangers at Ian McLennan. So get on down there when they've only got 2 rounds remaining in their league. NPL Victoria, there were no games because, of course, we had the Doherty Cup final, and there we go. There's only 2 rounds left to play, and this Sunday, the Knights are at home against Dandenong at 4 p.m, so get them down and follow them before their last fixture against Heidelberg. Of course, this is for semi-final placings, which is exciting. I wish New South Wales had semi-finals. They got rid of them. St. Albans, of course, still, fairly important that they finish the season quite well, but look to be pretty safe from relegation. On Saturday, they take on Morelands before a home match against Green Gully the following Saturday. And then North Geelong, of course, playing tonight. At the moment, 1-1 draw. Hopefully they'll get a victory. And then the last match, which is going to be critical against South Melbourne at Elko Park. Oakley have just hit the lead 2-1. Thank you, Gerga. So there you go. Not good news for North Geelong at all to try and stay in NPL1 and VPL1. NPL Victoria next year.
Gurga is unbelievable. At the moment, I've got the 24th, whatever it's called, football app running in the background, and Gurga's let us know about 10 seconds before that app has even updated. So well done. Is
Gurga at the game? Maybe Gurga's got some special.
He does a security usually there at North Geelong. So well done to Gurgic. Not his real name, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Well, maybe one part of that name, who knows?
Well, he's tuning into us. Well done. Thank you so much. Good go. Dandy have no games. They've got no game this week again, and then they play on Monday, August 14. So next Monday, 8:15 p.m. against Bulleen before the final match of the season against Eastern Lions at home. Look, the competition of chaos. There are still probably 4 teams within striking distance of Dandenong. So, let's hope that they can hang on and get promoted into Victoria NPL next season.
Absolutely.
Sydney United, no game on the weekend because, of course, the Friday night match. They do play tomorrow night. Anyone who wants to head out to Christie Park, head on out there before a home match on Sunday against the Central Coast Mariners. And the date for the Waratah Cup final has been set. So it's going to be after the season finishes, which, because there's no finals and things, is a fantastic thing to do. So they're doing it a bit like the UK do with the FA Cup, etc. So it's on Sunday, September 3, with a venue to be announced and a time to be announced, but against Apia. So that's a huge grudge match. So that'll be massive. Put that in your diaries. And in our Wall of Honour this week, Taunchi. We've only got 6 clubs. We want more there. But anyway, there were a lot of games. A lot of teams didn't play because of Australia Cup, etc. So Newcastle, Croatia, 6 wins in a row. Fantastic stuff. The Knights, Guelph, Brisbane, Sydney United, and O'Connor. Very, very well done.
When you put it that into perspective, that there were a lot of teams that did not play this week, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But, when we're in single digits, you kind of always want it to be in double digits, if you know what I mean. Folks, we've just gone, just over half an hour of this show, and we've got a lot more coming up on the show tonight. We've got 3 guests from all parts of the country. We've got DANIJEL NIZIC, the Sydney United 58 goalkeeper. We've got Josip Zilic coming live from Elko Park at halftime. Or we might just bypass Josip and go straight to Gurga. What do you reckon? Let's uncover who the man is behind the name.
Maybe they can both be on together.
Maybe they could both be on at the same time. You never know. Yeah. But Josip will be joining us at the halftime break, which is approximately in about 15 minutes' time. But we've also got our next guest coming up right up after this very, very short break. And he is the commentator for the NPL Victoria competition, a well-known analyst down there as well, match analyst, and former team manager of the Melbourne Knights. And he's the man in the know. We'll be joined straight after this break by Mark IVKOVIC down in Melbourne. Don't go away, folks. Looking forward to that chat with Mark. He's got all the inside info, all the goss, and he'll tell us everything behind the scenes leading up to Thursday night's big Australia Cup clash down at Knights Stadium between the Melbourne Knights and, are they called the Brisbane Lions or just the Lions?
Just the Lions. Yeah.
Just the Lions from Brisbane. And they'll be just the Lions and nothing else because the Knights will absolutely maul them. Don't go away, folks. Mark IVKOVIC coming up next. Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Welcome to Mark IVKOVIC, my commentating colleague from down in Victoria. How are you, Mark? Great to have you on the show tonight.
Yes, good evening, boys. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Always a pleasure having a chat to you, Mark. Let's get straight into it, mate. Well, let's first of all talk about the NPL Victoria and the NPL2 Victoria situation. As we can see, North Geelong are currently 2-1 down late in that first half of the second last round of the season, which is not good news for North Geelong. But what's the state of affairs with the Croatian clubs down in the NPL Victoria competition?
Yeah, North Geelong really needs a win tonight. They probably got the worst 2 games left to play out of anyone in the competition, really, and they need maximum points in both games to stay alive. So unfortunately, I can't see it happening in either of the games, because come the last game of the season, South Melbourne will be playing for the championship. So I don't think they'll be resting anyone for that game. St Albans, well, they pretty much saved themselves with their last win against North Geelong. Still not mathematically safe, but a draw against Moreland City this weekend will ensure their survival. It's been a long battle for them, and luckily their goal difference is better than Moreland, so that should save them in the end, even if they lose both games. And the Knights, well, they're flying, aren't they? Fourth on the table, hit a bit of a form slump the past couple of months, but bounced back last week with a really good performance against Hume City, which was much needed going into Thursday night's game.
Yeah, we've Mark. How much of a difference has the new coach Ben Kahn been? He's a young guy. He's come from Queensland. He knows Lions very well, so that's going to be interesting. The Australia Cup clash on Thursday, but he seems to have really changed the dynamics at the Knights, and he works really well, it seems, with the younger players like Luka Korlic, amongst others.
Yeah, when I was there for the 5 seasons before this season, and we'd tracked Ben Kahn for about 3 years prior to him coming down this season. Had a really good reputation, and I was a big fan of the way he played football in Queensland, and made numerous approaches. We actually flew him down to Melbourne. I think it was 2019 or 2020. And just couldn't seal the deal back then. He wasn't ready. So it was a long time coming for the Knights, and he finally came across. And I think with him, it's more his recruiting as well. If you look at some of his recruits, Steve White, he brought from his Olympic team, which he's been phenomenal this season in the midfield. Corey Sewell played under him in Queensland as well, and he's probably been the best signing that he made. Mitch Hoare as well. So he's worked with a lot of quality players as well, which helps, especially in Victoria. It comes down to your recruiting. If you can recruit well, you do well in the competition. So
yeah,
that helped him massively.
Absolutely. What about the juniors coming through, Mark? Has any of those actually progressed into first grade?
Well, Luka Korlic is the one that stands out. He had a good first season last year as a 17-year-old, and he's just taken it to another level this season. I think it's 8 goals this season and probably 10 assists as well. So that's unbelievable at his age to be doing what he's doing. And for me, I've watched every Knights game this season. I think he's probably the most crucial player in that team now. When he's ticking and playing well, the Knights tend to win games. So, I've been really impressed with his development, and I'd be shocked if he stays at the Knights next season. I think he'll move on to bigger and better things.
Speaking about Knights next season, there's been bigger and better things. There has been a lot of speculation about this national second division. On again, off again. No one really quite knows exactly what is going on. But there's been lots of rumours and lots of assumptions. But you are the man in the know. You've got some inside information. In your opinion, Mark, and you can be as diplomatic or as straight to the point as you like. Will there be a national second division next year in Australia?
I think it would be a miracle if it's next year. I'd say 99% no. There's always a slim chance, and I know that after I tweeted a week or so ago about it not being on, Football Australia came out with a press release a couple of hours later, and I know they're scrambling behind the scenes to try and appease some of the clubs and the issues that they have with the way it's being laid out to them at the moment. But we're in the middle of August now, and they're saying it was going to be March 2024. I can't see how you can get a new division set up in that short amount of time. With the club still don't know if there's flights covered, if there's how many teams are in the competition, what the competition format looks like, is it professional, is it semi-professional, the costings, none of that has been given to them. So you can't blame a majority of clubs not wanting to put in submissions, and look, there's no point of rushing it either. I think at some point it will happen, but I don't think Football Australia is prepared at the moment for it.
Yeah, definitely. And then you've got the flow-on effect for all the state league, competitions, etc. as well. How many teams are going to be in their actual competitions and all those sorts of things? So it's just too many variables at this particular point in time. It's too late in the game, I think.
100%. And from the knowledge I've got, I think what Football Australia is doing is they're trying to make it like the league that they want straight away. It needs to be a slow build as well. If you remember when the A-League started, there was a hiatus from the NSL to the A-League beginning so that they could set it up properly. And, the A-League didn't take off straight away. It was probably about season 3, 4, 5 that it started flying, and now it's, dying again. But, they're trying to aim too high too soon. So I think just take a step back, although it's been a drawn-out process already, they just really need to make sure they've got the right model, and then the clubs will apply for it.
Well, about a week ago, there was a report in the Australian press just saying how much the A-League clubs were hemorrhaging financially. That there was obviously the well-documented story of the ownership changes or struggles at Perth Glory. And this was done just before kind of the announcement or the news was that they were going to go ahead with this. There's a lot of interest and all of that kind of stuff. How much of it is a real financial stumbling block at the moment? Because there have been reports that the clubs needed to put in $500,000 that was non-refundable, which is very hard to actually believe. But then there's always people start guessing things and start assuming things and insinuating that maybe that money is needed to bail out the APL clubs, the Australian Professional League clubs, even though they're two separate entities. I mean, how much of a concern amongst the existing clubs is that financial hurdle at the moment?
Well, that's the stumbling block, really. That's what's halted the process is, they've already paid $25,000 to get into this stage of the process, and then Football Australia is asking for a $500,000 bank guarantee on top of another $500,000 as a license fee. So they're asking the clubs to stump up pretty much $1 million before the competition starts.
Right.
And no broadcasting deals, nothing like that, right?
Nothing, and the clubs are asking, are the flights going to be covered? Is it going to be broadcasted? You can't expect clubs to stump up $1 million and not have these kind of answers for them.
And search for sponsors and all those sorts of things, so they can get exposure. So that's unbelievable. Now, Mark, you tweeted something else a couple of weeks before about some Croatian international potentially playing for the Knights. How close was that to happening?
It legitimately was fairly close because Knights goalkeeper Chris Oldfield, who's had an unbelievable season, he had a pre-planned holiday when he agreed terms with the Knights this season, and they knew that he was going to be away for this period of the season. They didn't know they were going to make the Australia Cup, obviously, at that point. So I know they tried to scramble in the transfer window to sign someone locally. That didn't happen, and Subasic kind of made sense to make contact to him. And
Daniel Subasic, the ex-World Cup champion goalkeeper.
Yeah, so they did reach out to him, and
champion
was in Croatia on his holiday, so they did make contact with him, but I think it was just a little bit too late and couldn't seal the deal. So unfortunately, he won't be playing on Thursday. But They were fairly close.
That would have been exciting. That would have been a good coup and great for the competition and great for the Knights.
Oh, good on him for reaching out and thinking 100%. Outside the box.
So what's going to happen with no Oldfield? Is it or has there been a change there?
Yeah, so the backup goalkeeper, Jacob Wiseman, who played for O'Connor Knights last season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be playing on Thursday.
Excellent. So there's a bit of a Canberra flavour. Now, Subasic obviously is from Zadar. Pave Yusuf, the president of the Knights, he also has his roots from the Zadar region, the greater Zadar region. And there are a lot of Zadar people involved with Melbourne Knights and the Melbourne Croatia Social Club. Now, earlier tonight, we reported about overnight breaking news in Croatia. The Sydney United president, Mark Ivancic, is involved with a consortium, we believe. We believe it's not just him, who are going to put some money into NK Zadar, which is really, really exciting. We've got Aussie Joe Šimunić, the president of Rudeš. Mark, can you see this becoming now a little bit of a trend, or we've seen a lot of younger players going over to Croatia? We had a couple on our show just 2 weeks ago, Anthony Leban from Geelong and Josip Orlovic from Sydney. Could you see, Australian Croatian clubs either in personnel or in capital bypassing either the national second division or even the A-League and turning our attention to Croatia? Oh,
looks like he's paused. That question was too much.
Was that too hard a question to ask?
Something's going on with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, something is going on, unfortunately. But we've got a live cross. We're going to have to interrupt that anyway. We've got a live cross from Elko Park where we've got Josip Zilic coming there. He's going to be coming to us live. So, folks, don't go away. Right after this break. A very, very, very warm welcome to a rather cold-looking Josip Zilic from Elko Park. Josip, it's halftime at Elko Park in the big clash between North Geelong and Oakley Cannons. And unfortunately, we've been following the scores thanks to progress scores from Grga Grgic. And what is the halftime score there at Elko Park?
Hey guys, sorry, I can't really hear that well. It's not picking up on the loudspeaker for me. I'll drop off and jump back in. Just give me a moment.
All right then. Well, we've got a little bit of some issues.
Technical issues,
and we've got Mark back. Mark, hopefully he's there. Hello, Mark. Are you there? No, he's definitely come off. Yep. No. Unfortunately, we've got some internet issues there from Mark's end as well. As soon as we get Josip back, we'll come back with the halftime score there.
We've got Daniel Nizic coming up as well. So, really looking forward to talking to Daniel as well.
Yeah, so it is halftime at Elko Park. It is 2-1 to Oakley Cannons. North Geelong took an early 1-0 lead. And then within minutes, Oakley equalised, and then it was 2-1 just before half-time as well. So if we can get Josip jumping back on, that will be fantastic. We'll be able to get him on. If not, we're going to try and hopefully get Mark IVKOVIC back as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, folks, what we might do is we might take a very, very short break. Now, if you are a Hajduk supporter, be sure to go on the Macron Victoria or Macron Sportswear website, and you'll be able to we're working on actually getting a special discount for Oz Cro Soccer Show listeners, trying and hopefully we'll be able to get that. So we have got a little bit of here we go. We've got Josip now trying to jump on, so we'll jump on very quickly with that. Josip, how are you? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. Just jumped in the car. How are you guys?
Not too bad. We can see your face, but it's all black around you. But it doesn't matter. The most important thing is you can hear us and we can see you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I had to get out back into my car because I couldn't hear you through the loudspeaker. It's not kicking in for some reason, but so be it. We're in for an interesting challenge tonight. North boys got away really solidly, and they're playing really well. Got away to a lead around the 20-odd minute mark. Ryan Opperman capitalising on a bit of a keeper blunder, courtesy of the pitch. But soon after, Oakley, being the professional unit that they are, bounced back, got themselves a equaliser, and then a few minutes later got themselves the lead. North's right in this game, battling hard, and they're finding ample opportunities to get through. Oakley doesn't seem to like the man-on-man situations too much, so I think North should exploit that a bit more.
Fantastic. That sounds good.
Now we've got Karl Živkovic who's watching, and he wants to know how his cousin's kid's playing like for Oakley. Anton Linaric. What's Anton Linaric doing for Oakley? He should be playing for one of the Croatian clubs. That's a different story. Is he playing tonight? I
don't really know, to be honest, which one he is. I focus on North Geelong's players, and that's about it, mate. Just try and keep it simple for myself. There's a lot going on match days, as you know, for me, Tunchi. And look, if I know which number it is, Živko, give me a message and I'll tell you how he's going.
Now, win, lose or draw the next home game, which will be the last game of the season. It's a special reunion round. The club is organising a very special, get together for all past players, officials, supporters. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, every last round of the year or last home game of the year, we try and get anyone that's ever been involved in the club, men, women, boys, girls, former managers, committee people. It doesn't matter in what capacity you serve the club. And it's just paying homage and patronage to those people who rolled up their sleeves and put in some effort wearing the famous red, white and blue of North Geelong.
Fantastic. All right, mate. Well, we're going to let you go there. Get ready for the second half, which should be kicking off very, very shortly. All the best to you and everyone there at North Geelong, and hopefully the Warriors can damage the Cannons, and the Cannons will walk away with no points, and will still be in the race for staying in the competition.
Thanks, guys. Plenty to play for, and we look forward to the boys turning around the second half.
Absolutely.
Go North Geelong.
Go North Geelong. Good on you. Josip there. Josip Zilic joining us there live from Alco Park. Now we're going to try and see if we can get Mark Ivkovic back on the line. Mark, he's back. He's moving, so that must mean that the internet is working. How are you?
I don't think it was me. I reckon it's your restream.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. Well, it could be.
Well, that probably explains why Josip was having problems as well, but possibly that's what it is, yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about when we were rudely cut off by technology?
Freezing up when I think you were talking about a pathway for Aussie Croats.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, well, I think that might be a better pathway. You look at what we just spoke about in Luka College, the contacts that people have here, I think he would be better off going to Croatia to expand his development. I think he'd learn more and get more of an opportunity over there than he would in the A-League. Probably get an A-League gig here, but would he play? It's kind of a recycled league, and they don't really take a chance on young players. So I think his development would expedite over there.
Yeah, sad. It's sad that they haven't got that development. But I guess our boys, our talented boys, aren't the only ones. And everyone, all over Australia have been saying a lot of the younger players playing in the NPL don't get that chance. And Mark, you've watched not just the Knights and Dinamo and North Geelong this year. You've watched a lot of other teams in the NPL Victoria competition. And there's a lot of exciting young talent going around at the moment. And a lot of those kids are never going to have a chance of playing in the A-League until it keeps on recycling itself, isn't it?
100%, don't you? That's the sad state of affairs with Australian football. They just put an idea in my head there to maybe we open up our own pathways and get the best NPL talent over to Croatia, whether they're Croatian or not.
Not a bad idea. I tell you what, there could be some. I know there are a couple of Croatian Australian agents, fledgling agents around the trap. So I reckon it could become quite a lucrative pathway.
Pathway to Europe. Absolutely.
Pathway to professionalism. Yeah, that's exactly right. Mate, apart from that, the Thursday night, the big game against Lions at Knight Stadium, what's the news from the club? Are they expecting a massive crowd? Have they got anything planned? Or, what's the weather like going to be? The fickle weather in Victoria, what's that going to be like?
Yeah, funnily enough, I saw Pavel Yusip driving on the freeway today. I usually work from home and rarely leave the house, but I had to do a rare on-site assessment today, so I was driving past and pulled up next to me. So
on the freeway.
On the freeway, yeah. So they are expecting a decent turnout, which they usually do for the Australia Cup or FFA Cup. I remember they played Green Gully a couple of years ago in the Cup, and I think they played him in the league the week before that and got a couple of hundred people, and then played him in the Cup a week later and got about 2,000 people. Yeah. So people tend to leave their house for the Cup games. It's about 1,500 to 2,000 people could be there on Thursday, which would be awesome for the Knights.
Everyone enjoys the Cup.
Yeah, in terms of the game, it's going to be a difficult match for them. The Knights have a few key players out. The striker, Kieran Bramwell, he's still out injured, and Corey Sewell's out for the year. Like we already mentioned, Chris Oldfield's not playing. And Lions have a few good players, a few seasoned NPL players. They've probably got the best striker outside of the A-League in Andy Pengelly. He's scored a lot of goals over the years, and a lot of clubs in Victoria have tried to get him down here into NPL Victoria. So it'd be good to watch him in the flesh, and a few other players, Joe Duckworth. So they're a pretty strong side, Lions, and I think it's been Ben Khan's Achilles heel. He's lost a few grand finals to him up there as well. So should be an interesting contest.
Yeah, let's hope they do well in this clash, and let's hope they do well in the finals as well. It's the first time in quite a number of years that they'll be actually playing in the finals, won't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you go to the Melbourne Knights website today, there is an extensive interview with Ben Khan, the coach of the Melbourne Knights. And also, if you go to the website there, you can get your tickets beforehand, so you don't have to line up. That's the actual website there, www.melbourneknights.com.au. And if you go /category/tickets/. But if you just go to the Melbourne Knights website, it'll eventually lead you to there, so you can get all of the details there. Mark, thank you heaps for joining us today, and thank you for your insight into what everyone wants to know about, but no one really knows what is going on as far as the National Second Division. Thank you for clearing it up a little bit more, and it's not as murky as mud, as they say. Thanks to you.
No worries, guys. Anytime.
Appreciate it.
Mark IVKOVIC, he's regularly a commentator with NPL TV for NPL Victoria, and also is a very good match analyst of a lot of the games. I've had the pleasure of calling a game with Mark down. In fact, it was, I think it might have been a cup match, or it might have been a league match. I can't remember now, but it was a game down at Melbourne Knights. All roads lead to Gold Coast Croatian Sports Centre tomorrow night, aren't they?
Absolutely.
The Australia Cup clash. And then then Thursday, it's at Knights Stadium. But in the meantime, we're going to, after this very, very short break, speak to someone who was, heavily involved last Friday night up at in Newcastle.
Magic Park in Newcastle.
That's what it was called, yeah. And he's our next guest. It's Sydney United 58 goalkeeper DANIJEL NIZIC, who's been very patient, and he'll be on with us later on. And I believe there is a major announcement to be made a little later on in the show. So hang tight for that, folks.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Now, before we do our next guest, Ante, breaking news from Croatia. More breaking news. Apparently, the Croatian media is saying that the first leg of the Dinamo Zagreb AEK Athens game that was supposed to be played early tomorrow morning, well, that's now going to be next week, the 15th of August in Zagreb. So the original game that was going to be played in Zagreb now becomes the first leg. The second leg, the return leg, is expected to be played 3 or 4 days later in Athens. So that's what is being reported in apparently both the Croatian and the Greek media overseas. So
interesting.
Lots of breaking news.
There'll be a lot of news around that particular match, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Torchy, it brings me great pleasure to introduce the big man between the Sydney United sticks, the man who has saved us on so many occasions that I can't even recall, let me tell you, because there have been too many times. And obviously, everyone's got some wonderful memories of this man saving us in a lot of penalty shootouts. And I would like to present to everyone none other than Mr. DANIJEL NIZIC. Welcome to the Oz Cro Soccer Podcast.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Evening, Daniel. Actually, it's welcome back because Daniel, I think, was on the very last show or the second last show of last year's episode when Sydney United made that extraordinary run to the final of the Australia Cup, and it all started it all continued, I should say, on Friday night. Auntie spoke about that, Daniel, up in Newcastle, 4-2, a big win. Came at a bit of a cost. Firstly, how is the young fella that was injured? How's he doing?
Yeah, Ante's doing okay. He I think it was just an elbow that like in a challenge came up for a head out elbow and sort of connected with him on the side of the head, and just the way he fell. And I think he wasn't knocked out, but I think it was a bit
precaution,
how you going sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think they just took more precaution on making sure that it was nothing too serious. But as far as I'm aware, I've spoken to him a couple of times, and he seems good. He's he's moving around and that,
good.
So that's good to hear.
Yeah, it was frightening scenes there, and obviously they put a neck brace on him and stretched him off the pitch. And of course, Daniel, there was a half-hour layoff. The teams had to pretty much warm up again, didn't they, because of the injury?
Yeah, it was. Obviously, we're all concerned about whenever he was down there. We're exactly not sure what was going on, but yeah, that long, I think it was 25, 30 minutes or something like that. We were just sort of just walking around, and then it looked like they were going to move him. And then, so we started moving, and then, but then he was not getting up. So it was like sort of just trying to keep warm. It was a bit of a weird one, but look, just glad that he's okay.
Yeah, thankfully he's okay. So tell us a bit, the game was a bit of a funny game, wasn't it? We led twice, and even with 10 men, they were able to equalize somehow.
Yeah, look, they came flying first. Like I think it was, the first 15 minutes, they came flying, very intense, high press. And then they got the red card, which made it a little bit easier, slowed the game down. But yeah, it was a game of I think it was a game of who could make the least mistakes. And look, at the end of the day, look, they a couple of errors there, and we got the goals, and at the end of the day, look, whether we were good, whether we were bad or amazing or whatever, we got the win and went to the next round. So,
yeah, and tell us a little bit about the preparation, because you actually came up to Newcastle the day before, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been up there. I was up there since Tuesday training. So like, look, at the end of the day, I've got an opportunity. I'm moving to an A-League team. Friday night, the game was my last game for the club. So it was a bit of an emotional one, but look, I've been given a chance, an opportunity, and, something that I'm want to take with both hands and give it everything I got.
So more breaking news, more major announcements on this show. I don't know. We've never had this many announcements. Daniel, so you are moving to an A-League club. Are you at liberty to say which club that is?
Yeah, look, I'm moving to MacArthur. I think a lot of the Croatian community around are sort of hearing it, but yeah, it is something that is happening. Like I said, Friday night was my last game, and I'll be there now. Like, obviously won't be up to play, the next round, but I'll be there to support them, and, and I hope we go, Sydney and I can go all the way, make it back-to-back finals. So.
Do you know the rules are you actually able to play for MacArthur in
the
future rounds? You're not?
I'm cut tied now. So,
okay.
Whether MacArthur we make it to the final or not, I won't be eligible to play.
And you're joining an ex-Sydney United legend in Mile Stojowski, who'll be a coach, right? How's Mile been so far?
Mele's been good. He's a great coach. He's working us hard. We have obviously the Australia Cup games coming up, and we also have the Asia Cup in September. So, he's been putting us through our paces, and yeah, he's been really good. He's really good. So, good signs, good start.
Well, that really provides the A-League with a real Croatian flavour now. Doni Grdic has signed from. He's got an Australian passport. He signed for Western Sydney Wanderers, and another fella who we mentioned last week, Martin Jakolic, who's also got an Australian passport, even though he's from Croatia, has signed with Melbourne City. So. In years gone by, we probably haven't had as many as we'd like. But Daniel, on a personal note, that's congratulations, and that's well done. But personally, I think it's well overdue. I think I'm surprised that after last year's effort, you weren't snapped up by an A-League club. But look, better late than never. And when do you actually start training with them? Or have you already started training? With them?
I've started training with them now. But I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Sydney United as the club. It's been an amazing 3 years there. They brought me in like family, and considering I was gonna maybe quit football, they brought me in and gave me that love again. The fans, everyone's been amazing. The Croatian culture around there. We train Friday nights, go up to the club, have dinner. Chat to the people up there, and it's been a really good 3 years there, and the club now that will be in my heart forever. And I will be supporting them and watching all the games when I can. So I want to say thank you to everyone there. I got to give a special mention to Vitas Malesh. He got me in, when I wasn't at my best, and he mentally and physically got me into the shape to be able to, where I've been able to give this opportunity. So I got to say a massive thank you to him. And then, thank you to Sydney United. Thank you to all the fans for the last 3 years. It's been amazing. So, great memories that I'll definitely, cherish for the rest of my life.
Wow, fantastic. We were talking about Vitas a couple of weeks ago with Josip Borlovic. He's definitely left an impression on several young goalkeepers, not just yourself, isn't that right, Daniel?
Yeah, he's really good. He's he's obviously a great coach, but he's a very good understanding as a person. He knows when mentally, because goalkeeping is very much it's a mental game. Maybe not as much physical, but he's very good at just understanding the player, knowing where they are at that certain time, and that's something that he's definitely helped me with, and and a lot of the goalkeepers, and that's why he's been very successful in bringing players through.
You've played some incredible matches, some very important matches for Sydney United. I mean, pretty much historical matches. Can you take us back to 2020 for people who haven't seen the highlights of this grand final? It's one of the greatest grand finals you ever will see. And this man was in between the sticks, did a fantastic job. And of course, was that one of the first penalty shootouts you were involved in, or take us back to that day, Daniel?
Yeah, I don't know if that was I think maybe I don't know, but that was the only one I remember. It was a crazy game. It was the torrential rain did not stop. It was literally a pool, but it was just end to end. It was a game I've never really been in. It was crazy. It was just goal after goal after goal. It was a special day, and to go all the way into penalty shootouts. It was also we went up with, I think it was 7 minutes to go. And then thinking, okay, yeah, we can hold on, and then it was bang 3-3, and then and then you got fire. I got to go to extra time. But and then to go to penalties, and then win it in pens. It was and then running to the crowd, again the fans that day. You can never forget the fans to City United. They're unbelievable. And then we went back to King Tom, and we partied all together, and it was amazing.
Yeah, obviously last year must have been an absolute thrill, in the crowd and the atmosphere and in the path to the Australia Cup final. But taking a look back at the last 3 years, what were some of your greatest highs, and also what were maybe some of your regrets or some of your lows of your time at Sydney United?
Highs have definitely got to be the NPL final in 2020, and also I think think the Brisbane Roar game, that was a bit massive high, you know, the crowd that was there. And, you know, when it was, you know, I think it was like, what, the 70th minute, and you could just see more people coming in. It was, you know, it was wild. And the way that, you know, extra time again, and you know, tricky, you know, always coming up with the magic, you know, and getting that winner. And then, you know, when the whistle went and all those fans running on. And, you know, I think a lot of the boys we've said, like, even through the whole Australia Cup run, like, I wish we could have just maybe we didn't take it in at the time, you know. It was one of those ones where it was just like, okay, we won next game, you know. The final, like, you know, it was maybe a week later, and then just rewatching, you know, videos and stuff, and kind of like, wow, like, you know, I should have really just enjoyed the moment.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah,
it was historic.
You know,
it was historic and magnificent time. And of course, you had a very emotional interview at the end of that match, didn't you, Daniel?
Yeah.
Have you watched that a few times or what?
Yeah, every time I watch that, I cringe, man.
But it was emotion. It was straight after the game.
Yeah, it was. Like, I didn't know what I was saying. It was just one of those, like, you know, I just see my dad over there, like, you know, and I haven't seen him yet. All I want to do is hug him. And, you know, it was just, yeah, it was, I don't know.
Insane.
Even like now, like the smile, like, just, you know, thinking about all that times, it was beautiful. It was magical. It was magical.
It was
fantastic.
Oh, it's incredible for people watching it. You know, people at the ground, but people are watching it on the stream. It was just absolutely amazing. But look, Sydney United, I think last year, of course, it was the Croatian tournament up in Sydney, so there was a lot of Croatians from around Australia. But we felt it here on the Oz Cro Soccer Show, just how much of a uniting force that it became like a movement Australia-wide. And, you know, dare I say, if there was a national second division now, Sydney United goes to any capital city in Australia, there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of Croatia supporters there going to those games. So it was like the good old days of it really becoming a movement. And I guess you guys were responsible for it. But getting back to that little thing that you said, you wish that you had have enjoyed it. When you look back at it in retrospect, is it possible to even enjoy it and be in the moment when you know that you've got so many other things, you know, you've got the next game coming up and you have to act like true professionals? Is it possible to enjoy that type of, I don't know, experience in the moment?
I don't think it was, like, you know, like, I've never seen, you know, you got to remember, we were, I think, the semi-finals, like, we were 3 months, our season was finished. But I've never seen the boys more like switched on. It was like, job done. Okay, enjoy that night, and then it was straight back into training. And, you know, we wouldn't have a game, like, it was every like 2 weeks the games. So we were playing like friendly games, like another one. We were, I think, Newcastle, Croatia. Like, you know, they came down to play against us to give us those minutes. Yeah, but it was just that next one. You know, it was, okay, training, bang, bang, bang. You know, work on this. You know, it was never like, we never had that time to really soak it in. You know, really look and go. It was only until obviously after, you know, we look back now, and, you know, obviously what we've done is, you know, something that, look, I hope all NPL teams can, you know, get the opportunity to do what we experienced, but it was not an easy thing, and we didn't have an easy run. You know, we had to beat Western, who, you know, just come off winning the A-League. You know, Brisbane Roar, you know, with big players, Charlie Austin, you know, players like that, you know, they all had full strength teams. So to do what we done, you know, it's crazy.
It was incredible. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
I don't know, gents. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that no NPL club will ever, you know, equal those feats, because, you know, when you know, Giant Killers cup sets, we hear about it all the time, and it happens all the time. But that's usually one-off. And as you progress more and more into the competition, the A-League clubs start to really get more match practice and start to approach their own season. So when you put all that into perspective, it was a giant killing feat, but times it by 2. And even in the final, you know, there were moments where you could have had
2 penalties. It took 2 penalties to beat us. Right. Exactly right. And one dubious one, probably, anyway. Maybe both. I don't know. Daniel, have you got thoughts on that? I wanted to ask you, though, do you guys feel that you are the tall poppies now because you made the final? Does the team feel that pressure? Because
they
did so well last year?
I feel like there's definitely pressure, you know, to repeat, I guess, what we did. You know, like, we've set that bar now, and, as like club and fans, they're going to want to experience that feel and that time again last year. So there is definitely pressure for us to, get back to that stage again. And look, the boys, at the end of the day, we're in around a 16, it's unfortunately, like, I won't be playing anymore, but, I know the boys, they're switched on, and, like our season at the end of the day is, we don't have finals this year, and we can't, come first. So the boys are all switched on for this Australia Cup. So, there's, and I back the boys that, whoever we get next round, they'll get the job done. And, and then again, just one game at a time. And hopefully, we'll, as long as everyone's there to support, and we'll push them through.
And are we a cup team, Daniel? Because, obviously the last 2 seasons in the league, we haven't really fared very well, but come the cup, somehow we just pull it out, don't we? Yeah,
we seem to like the big, big cup games, the ones that, where you must win, otherwise you're gone. But look, again, you got to remember, like, the boys, okay, yeah, which is understandable. Like, we haven't been good this year in the league, and it's not good enough. But the boys, we went 3 months, past the season, and then we didn't have much of a break, and then we're back in, and whether that maybe played a fact in the boys being tired, lethargic.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You look at like a lot of the teams, like, they go into the Europa League and they go so far. Look how they go the following season in their league. They don't do the best. So.
Yeah. Do you find a 30 round competition is a lot for part-timers? And then when you factor that a potential B League, it is a lot, isn't it? And plus the cups on top of that.
Yeah, of course. It's a lot. 30 games is a lot. I think around 27, I think we would have been done 2-3 weeks ago. And you got to remember, a lot of the boys, there's tradies, and, they're working hard all day on job sites, and then, coming at night training, so it is a lot on the bodies, but look, we chose to do this, and, so.
Now, Daniel, if Sydney United work to get to, let's say, the national second division, and we talked with Mark IVKOVIC just before, and he's adamant that it's highly unlikely, would need a miracle for it to get off the ground next year. But should Sydney United be one of those teams that are chosen to be in the national second division, well, what are some of the things that the club would need to do? Obviously, recruit a few players and go professional and all of that kind of stuff. But is the infrastructure by and large there in place? The juniors, the academies, all of that sort of off-field stuff that we as fans don't necessarily see?
Yeah, definitely. I think the club as a whole is definitely ready to take that step up into that B League if the B League does happen. There is a good youth setup going on. Glenn Shafiro is now taken over as technical director for the youth. So yeah, I think there's definitely, there's a good pathway. Like, look at Friday night, young Alessandro, he's come through, and, he's now, obviously scored last night on Friday night. So there's good talent coming through. And of course, B League is definitely going to be where you're going to need maybe some more younger players who can do full time. But definitely as a club, with the stadium and, the facilities we have, and again, like with, I think, any Croatian team, whether it's Melbourne Knights, anyone, you go to anywhere interstate, and there's Croatians that are coming in to support. We will bring crowds to games, and so I definitely think that United is ready and will do and be successful in the B League if it happens.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Daniel, there's a lot of players and goalkeepers and, going to Croatia, going to Europe, going overseas. Obviously, you experienced that as well at a young age. Are there any tips and tricks that you can give these particular players? Or what is it? It's all individual experiences. It's all different depending on where you go, or what's the story?
For me, I'm just, I'm a big believer where just whatever you got to lose, go. Back yourself. If your goal is you want to go overseas, you want to go to England, Croatia, play, go. What's the worst case scenario? You come back. This is always here for you. So, just go, give it everything you got, work hard, and enjoy it as well. Life's too, football's, it's a short career. You have to enjoy it. That's what I have to really say. It's just, don't listen to anyone. Just go and do what you want to do and give it everything you got. And yeah.
Fantastic words of inspiration. And tell us, at MacArthur, have you got a couple of keepers there, or what's the story with the goalkeeper situation?
Yeah, so there's me, and then there's a Polish international, Filip Kurto. He was there last year, and then there's a young boy, Alex Robinson.
Okay, fantastic. And have they recruited any other players? Is it looking good so far?
Yeah, the team's looking good. They've announced all their players. We have a French international who played with Subasic. I was speaking to him about it. He's good mates with him. So he's looking sharp, but all the boys are looking sharp. We've got a good manager, Mile. He's really pushing us, and I think definitely a successful season for us.
Fantastic. Just one last thing I wanted to ask is that after the fourth goal, it looks like you were asking the people behind the goal for either their phone numbers or whether they're cooking instructions or something, or what was going down there after that fourth goal went in on Friday night?
Oh, look, the beauty of a goalkeeper, you're right behind them, and they can all game give you some good stuff, But I just thought after the fourth goal, I'd let them know where the exit was for them to go home.
They didn't already know, yeah.
very, very well. But just on that quickly, like you mentioned before how great the Sydney United fans were. But look, there were times as well when we've copped some heavy losses whereby, I saw you guys have some very difficult conversations as well, right? So that's the thing with Sydney United. You get the passion with the good and when you're struggling as well, right?
Yeah, so be it. And that's the expectations for us to, we're at a big club, where expectations are to do well, and, they come to support us, they sing. So, obviously if we're not performing, it's expected to give it to us because it's not good enough. So there is obviously the majority of the time is good, and then sometimes but no, they're great fans. I love them all, and I'll be definitely joining them to be watching the boys play. We are in the middle of them.
Yeah, I can definitely say on behalf of all Sydney United fans, we'll miss seeing you between the sticks, and who knows, maybe one day you might be back. But we do wish you all that at MacArthur, and of course, Luke Tuckard, you've been injured recently, etc. as well, and so he's been taking the position between the sticks and doing a fine job, and we wish him all the best for the next Australia Cup games and the remaining rounds, and of course the Waratah Cup final, which unfortunately you'll be missing as well.
Yeah, but no, definitely Luke Tuckard, he definitely will step up, and he's a young boy, and the last couple of games that he has played, he's done very well, and and I'm sure he will, and I know he will do us all very well.
Well, we'll certainly look forward to following your fortunes in the A-League this year, Daniel. And once again, thank you for coming on the show. And thank you for providing us with a bombshell announcement. There's been a few of those tonight, but wishing you all the very best at MacArthur.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Daniel.
Daniel Nizic, former Sydney United 58 goalkeeper, who has signed, and it is official and has made it public tonight on the Oz Cro Soccer Show that he will be joining MacArthur FC. Fantastic stuff there. Not so fantastic stuff over in Geelong, which is only about a couple of kilometres away from my house as the bird flies. North Geelong are down 1-3, and it's about, I think it's the latest was about 70 minutes, 70th minute. Oakley Cannons 3, North Geelong 1. So unfortunately, certainly looks like North Geelong will next year be playing in NPL2. And hopefully Dandenong City Haydock, they are currently on top spot in NPL2. They will stay there with 2 games to go. All their destiny is in their hands, so hopefully we will be seeing them in NPL next year. And hopefully Adelaide, Croatia as well this weekend. Got a big game. Western United, we went through all of that. There's some big games coming up this weekend, and we're wishing all our Australian Croatian clubs the very, very best this weekend. And Ante, we'll look forward to catching up next Wednesday when hopefully we'll have a huge announcement. We were hoping to make that announcement this week, but logistics just didn't enable us to do so. And hopefully that we can make next week. And hopefully we'll also have some big high-profile guests on next week's show.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, tomorrow night, don't forget Gold Coast. Thursday night, we have Melbourne Knights, and Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m, we've got Matildas. I mean, geez, it's all happening. The cups are happening and knockout games, and it's all exciting.
And Friday morning, Hajduk, Rijeka and Osijek, assuming everything goes okay, will be in European action. Lot of football coming your way, folks. On that note, Laku noć, good night, and thank you for being with us again this week. Good night.
Laku noć.